Hi guys, thank you for joining me. This is the first in a three-part series about improving your relationship with food. There is so much I want to tell you. I've had to break it down into three different sessions. So the first one today, we're going to talk about a number of different things, but the first thing that we're going to look at is how your relationship with food is. What you visualize when you see food, how you see yourself, and so many other elements that all come together and help you look at how your relationship with food is. So the first question I want to ask you is, if you could wake up tomorrow and never have to think about losing weight again, how would that make you feel? How would that change your life? How would it shape the way your next year goes, the way your next 5 years go? If you feel like you never ever have to lose weight again, how would that make you feel? Let me know. So let's look at your relationship with food. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions. These are going to span from an okay relationship with food to a more severe negative relationship with food. If you feel at any point that you need to seek medical help, medical assistance, whether you need to potentially go and see a doctor or a physiotherapist or a hypnotherapist, please do that, because it's going to be so beneficial. If there's anything I can help with, I'm going to let you know in these sessions. So keep listening. Right. So before we get into all of this, let's look at the way society has made us look at food. This is a good food. This is a bad food. You should eat this. You shouldn't eat this. It is drummed into us for such a long time. If you go to somebody's house for dinner and they put a meal in front of you, you instinctively, without even thinking about it, are going to look at that plate and think, this is going to help me. This is a healthy thing for me to eat. This is a not so healthy thing for me to eat. But I'm at someone's house, I'm going to be naughty and I'm going to eat it. You're putting these negative words in: naughty food, treat food, bad food. It's because it's the only way that we know how to describe it. No food is bad. You can never be addicted to food. We need food to survive. Anything that we need to survive, you're not addicted to. You're not addicted to water. You're not addicted to breathing. It's just something that we need to survive. The slight difference comes as sugar. You can definitely be addicted to sugar. You can definitely be addicted to cocaine. You can definitely be addicted to alcohol. These are all things that we put into our body, which you can absolutely be addicted to. We're going to talk more about those in some of the other sessions, but let's look at your relationship with food. If you feel like you have to isolate yourself in order to eat food, if you feel like you are completely inflexible about your food, that you'd rather starve than eat something is off plan or not typically on your diet, if you feel ashamed when you're about to eat something, whether you're ashamed, you've thought about it, you're eating in a mindful state, which is something we'll talk about in a minute, but you feel like it's still something that you're not supposed to be eating, and you set impossible tasks for yourself and you say, I cannot eat this, I will not eat that. And the more we tell ourselves that we will not do something or we shouldn't do something, the more that we're going to want to do it. In a week, we have got 35, roughly most of us have got 35 meals that we are going to eat. Meals as in taking out snacks, taking out drinks, all of those decisions, just 35 meals that we're going to eat. That is 35 different opportunities. Potentially, for some of us, there's 35 different stresses. And that's only taken into account that you are stressful in the situation of eating the food, not in the build up to the food or after the food. So there's so many different ways to look at it. But if you're eating food that is going to make you feel bad, if you're either always feeling like you're on a diet or there's no middle ground, you're either, oh my God, I'm on this diet, or sod it, I'm going to eat absolutely everything. There's no middle ground. There's nowhere for you to sit if you're just everyday life ticking over. And you're embarrassed about the amount of food that you're going to eat. I've done mountains and mountains of research. I have studied into nutrition. I've studied deeper into the psychology around nutrition and our mental health, the way that we look at food, the way that we don't look at food. And I've even done some research before I put these sessions together. And as any of you would have done, I have put into Google, how to improve my relationship with food. I have put in, how do I know I have a bad relationship with food? So I can see what people who feel as though they have a bad relationship with food, what they would do and how the information that they're given would be consumed. And it's so funny because the things that I found out, I went onto two main sites, which a lot of you would have gone onto, Google being one of them. And the top 5 things on there that it tells you are: give yourself unconditional permission to eat when you're hungry, practice mindful eating, welcome all foods into your diet, and mind your plate. So don't justify the food that you're eating. So I'm eating this because I've had a shitty day. I'm eating this, or I'm drinking this wine because it's going to make me feel better. So those are the top 5 things, right, from this website, which some of them I agree with, some principles, which we're going to go into. But then on another very similar site, which will come up if you search for things, there's 5 pretty much complete opposites. So the first one is give yourself unconditional permission to eat, right? The next one is don't skip breakfast. So they are conflicting each other. Give yourself unconditional permission to eat, and essentially in there it's telling you eat what you want, eat when you want, don't listen to all the rules that are set by everybody. And here it's telling you don't skip breakfast. Well, that's giving you a rule. It's telling you do not do something. It's giving you a rule. It's conflicting. The second one is eat when you're hungry. And then on this other side, it tells you to keep mindful and healthy snacks on you at all times. But if you're only eating when you're hungry, but you've got these snacks on you, whether you're hungry or not, you've got this snack on you, so you're probably going to eat it. So again, just completely conflicts. So I can completely see why social media and the internet and all the information it gives you is just so confusing. Practice mindful eating, and then the next website is watch your portion size. So what do we need to do mindful eating, or do we need to watch our portion size? What do we actually need to do? I'm going to give you the answers to all of these. The next one is welcome all foods into your diet plan and mind your plate. So, and then on the other website is eat as a family and eat media free. So these kind of go hand in hand. However, there's still a lot of contradictions. So welcome all foods into your diet, but eat as a family. And we all know, I have young children, we all know that our children, if we put something in front of them, like a salad, for example, my kids are going to pick out the cucumber and the pepper, they're going to leave the lettuce, they're going to leave the tomato. Whereas we as adults, we all have our preferences. So if we have the same meal as them, they're going to pick up on the things that we're doing, because we don't all like these things. So either we won't have put the tomatoes on our plate if we don't like them, so they will look at our plate and be like, why does mummy not have any tomatoes? As they get older, they're going to do this more and more and more, and they're going to pick up on these cues. So as much as it is eat as a family and welcome all foods into your diet, which I do massively agree with, there's different ways to look at things and different ways to approach the meals that you're putting in front of you as a family. So the 35 meals that I spoke about earlier, these can either be seen as an opportunity, or they can be seen as a challenge or a stress or something that you are not going to look forward to in your weeks. And whether you meal plan or whether you don't meal plan, whether you prep food or you don't prep food, if your relationship deep down and you haven't dealt with it, if your relationship with food is a negative one, then you are still going to have a stressful situation, whether you've meal planned, whether you've meal prepped. Yes, it's going to take elements of those stresses away, 100%, but you're still going to either be having those mental setbacks or the challenges that you're going to come across. So it's really important that you dig deep and find out why you have these challenges and then tackle them. So it's going to take time to reframe your mindset. It's going to take time for you to get those old patterns and replace them with new patterns, get some new habits in there. And you may feel that you're going to take one massive stride forward, and then you might have a couple of setbacks, and another massive stride forward and a couple of setbacks. But if you're aware that that's going to happen, if you're aware that that is something that will happen, then at least you're prepared for it. So let me ask you again, what would happen if you never, ever, ever had to think about losing weight again? What if this time next year, when New Year ticks around, and not at the top of your New Year's resolution is lose weight again, or try to lose weight, or be healthier, or something along those lines, where you feel like you have to do something to improve your health? What if it's just part of your life and you are already doing it, and you then don't have to put it on your priority list because it is already a priority of yours? How amazing would that be? And that is exactly what my clients are doing right now. Lose weight. Lose weight is a byproduct of most of our goals that we're going to set. A lot of us go into our goal setting with a focus on, I have to lose weight. I have to lose 2 pounds. I have to lose 7 pounds. I have to lower my BMI. I have to get myself away from type 2 diabetic. With these, there's always underlying reasons for them. So it's really important that you're thinking about those underlying reasons. And again, we're going to touch more on that. So what would happen tomorrow if you never have to think about losing weight? Would you be more confident? Would you talk nicer to yourself? Would you go out and connect with people more? Would you feel more full of life? Well, how would you feel? How would it impact your life? Would you be a nicer person? So let's think about how you feel right now. Let's think about how the fact that you feel like you have to lose weight, how the fact that you feel like you need to improve your relationship with food, how is that affecting you as a person right now? So generally, I break this down into 4 different areas. The first area is our energy. So how does it affect our energy levels? How do you feel right now? Do you feel energized? Do you feel like lethargic? Do you feel run down? Do you feel exhausted? Well, what's the first thing that you're going to do? So you're going to probably get more sleep. You're probably going to drink more coffee, and you're probably going to try and eat a bit better. All of these things we know stereotypically are going to help us to feel better about ourselves. So the first thing, you're going to go to bed earlier. So you get into bed and you go to bed earlier and you sit there and you can't go to sleep because your body's not used to it. Your body's like, we don't go to bed for another 2 hours. What are we doing here now? But what we actually need to do is improve the type of sleep that we're getting, which the other elements are going to impact on. So you can definitely start to eat better, but everyone's version of eating better is a little bit different. And you can drink more coffee. Coffee, for me especially, is not something that I take away from my clients. I don't take away anything from them, because the more I tell them they can't have something, the more you're going to want something. So yes, you can absolutely have more coffee, but there are a lot of negative impacts on that. For example, it's not going to help improve your sleep. So if you drink coffee in the morning and stop around lunchtime, it may affect you a little bit less, depending on how your body reacts to caffeine. So your energy level is one thing. Then you're going to think about your mirror image. You're going to think about how you feel now if you were stood in front of the mirror. You're going to stand in front of a mirror. What is the first thing you're going to look at? Oh my God, my hair looks awful today. Have you seen my eyebrows? Wow, I have not done them in such a long time. I feel so fat. These clothes fit awfully. I don't look great. I don't look healthy. My nails aren't growing. You're going to pick out all of this negativity. You're throwing all these insults at yourself. And that is causing a really negative relationship with yourself. If any of this resonates with you, let me know. The other 2. So the next one links into your mirror image. So avoiding photos. Are you the type of person that if someone's going to take a photo, you will quickly hide behind somebody else and go, no, I'll be at the back, I'll be at the back. And you're hiding behind somebody else. Or you are avoiding going on beach holidays. You avoid in hot weather taking your clothes off. You avoid looking at the photo once it's been taken. I mean, there's 2 ends of this. You could massively obsess over it, or you could avoid the photos altogether, or you can make sure that somebody is elevating the photo and you always want to be caught on your best angle. It's taking all of these thoughts, all these patterns, all these habits that you have created for yourself because of the situation that you find yourself in, because of your negativity that you're throwing at yourself, because of your lack of energy, because of how you see yourself. And the 4th thing is the lack of control, or control in general, maybe over control. So the lack of control, either being over controlling in the sense that you track everything into MyFitnessPal, you're 100%, and you track your water, you track your coffee, if you have a splash of milk, you track absolutely everything, and you think, this is it, I'm on it, I'm going to track it all, I'm going to do it, I'm going to smash it. And then you've got the opposite end of the spectrum where you think, sod it, I'm not going to do any of that, I'm not going to track it, I'm just going to eat what I want. I'm going to, as they say, unconditionally give myself permission to eat, and you're going to eat what you want when you want. And both sides of those are not healthy. We need to sit somewhere in the middle ground. And giving yourself unconditional permission to eat, if you think about, if any of you have been through CBT, if any of you have been through any type of cognitive therapy, then you will relate to this, because they do push this a lot on people, is the unconditional permission to eat, and you're only eating when you're hungry, and thinking about your portion size, and practicing mindful eating, which all has its place. But that's only tackling the high level. You really need to dig down deep and find out why you've got this relationship that you currently do, and changing those habits really slowly. It is not a race. If you try and go 100%, you're just going to find yourself right back where you are now. So how are we going to solve each of these situations? So again, there's so much to tell you. I cannot cover it all in just one session. So make sure that you watch the next video. Make sure that you watch it, you take notes, that you're writing things down, and that you're putting some of these things into play. So start at the very beginning. So today you decide, this is it. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to change my mindset with food. The first thing I'm going to do is make a commitment that in January, I am never eating out. I am not going to have any more Costa coffees. I'm not going to stop at McDonald's. I'm not going to arrange any social events. I am going to be me, me, me. I'm going to focus on me for January. So there's a couple of unrealistic things here. You may be able to stick to that for January, but what happens when February comes? Taking out the option of eating out is fine if you know you can stick to it. However, it may not be realistic for you. So think about your goals and think about why you're putting these things into play. Why have you said that you're not going to eat out? Because you know it's a trigger. It's a trigger for you not just to have your main meal. It's a trigger for you to have a starter and 3 glasses of wine and a pudding. So think about, you're going to be put into these situations. It's like when I take clients on board and they're like, right, I'm going to get all the bad food, exactly what I said, good food, bad food. I'm going to take all the bad food out of my house. But what's going to happen in 6 months' time? What's going to happen in 2 months' time? Your husband, your partner, your mum is going to go to the shop. They're going to buy a bag of Doritos. They're going to buy some biscuits. They're going to buy cakes, and they're going to bring it into the house, and they're going to put it in front of you, and you've not seen it in a long time. You've not enjoyed it in a long time, so you're just going to eat it. And that will happen. So why not keep those things in the house and learn how to work around them? If you know there's certain things that are real triggers for you, especially to start with, then you can potentially put them away, but it's not something I would recommend. Again, if any of this is triggering for you, if you feel like any of this is bringing up emotions in you, please seek further medical professional, because they will be able to help you. I could definitely help you with the mindset side of things. I can help you with your overall relationship with food. But if there are things that are bringing out emotions that you're unable to control at the moment, then either reach out to me and we will have a chat, or please further medical help. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to cut out eating out, and you're going to cut out Costas, you're going to cut out all the things that bring you a little bit of joy, because you have been told, you think these are the things to help you. So a friend rings you up and they say, hey, there's this new restaurant that's opened up, shall we go? And you go, oh, I probably shouldn't. And then the next week they ring you again, oh, I went with Emma, it was amazing, it was so much fun, did you see my pictures on Facebook? Oh my God, we had the best time, you've got to come next time. And then you go and you say, okay, look, I'll come, but I'm not going to drink wine. I'm not going to drink any alcohol. And they go, oh, why? What are you doing now? What diet are you on now? And you don't want to be in that situation. You don't want them to be like, oh, she's not going to last. We'll talk to her in another week because she won't be on the diet then. This needs to be a way of life. So try not to think about cutting things out of your diet. You think, shit, I need to do all this stuff to lose weight. I need to cut out carbs. I need to reduce my carbs. I need to increase my protein. I need to reduce the amount of fat that I'm eating. I need to increase my water, and I need to track everything. So all of these things are things that you can do, but the worst thing you can do is cut out any element into your diet. Do not cut out carbs. Do not cut out fats. Do not just have a sole plan with protein. If you've tried Weight Watchers, you've tried Slimming World, you've tried keto, and you can say, oh my God, it worked. Oh, I felt amazing. I loved it. I lost a bunch of weight. I felt incredible. I had so much energy. If that's your story, but your story also then evolves and the next chapter is, but now I put it all back on, or, but I lost a load of weight and now I am in a situation where I'm actually worse than I was before. So I lost 10 pounds, but I've now put on 14 pounds. or I started to do exercise and I started to put weight on. And even though I went there and I got weighed, the negative impact of that made me stop doing the exercise and I just carried on with the eating, but then I plateaued. So I then put the weight on because I got really bored. There's so many different stories. Everyone has a different story. Everybody has a different roadmap. And it's knowing what to do in your individual situation, which is why things like Weight Watchers and Noom and all of these are not going to work for everybody. They will work for some people to a certain point, but they're not sustainable. They are not something that's going to help you going forward. You're always going to be put back into that cycle, right back at the start of, let's do this again. Let's lose weight again. Let's relook at things again. And you're going to try the latest fad. You're going to try the latest trend because that is just you. That is you. So what we need to do is you've got to change your identity. If you, and this is the point I'm going to finish on today, is about changing your identity. So if you identify as an overweight person, if you identify as somebody with high BMI, with asthma, with elements that are going to limit you from getting to where you want to be, if you identify as somebody who doesn't feel good about themselves, and doesn't look good and doesn't feel good in themselves, you're going to avoid the mirror. You're going to avoid those photos. We don't look good on camera, so we're going to have that elevated picture, and you're probably going to use it as a Facebook profile picture. You're going to avoid meeting people that you haven't seen since you gained 2 stone. You're going to avoid social situations because you don't feel comfortable, you don't feel confident. You've lost 10 pounds, you've gained 10 pounds. You've lost 10 pounds, you've gained 10 pounds. And if you relate to that person who is just going to fail again, well, then you're just going to fail again. And wouldn't it be better to lose that 10 pounds and then lose another 5 pounds rather than losing the 60, 70, maybe 100 pounds that you've already lost over the years, but lost and gained, but just lose the 10 pounds, lose another 5 pounds, and feel comfortable, sit around that area. If that is where you're comfortable, that is where your body is comfortable. And that is who you identify as. And that is what is going to stop you from getting results. So what we need to do is change that. We need to change your identity. We need to change how you see yourself, your warped perception of how you are going to tackle your next diet, your next fad, your next challenge. So you then need to identify as somebody who is committed, who is determined. And we have to change your identity. We have to change how you visualize yourself. And that's what we're going to cover in the next few days. We're going to talk individually about how we can change our identity, along with so many other things. We need to change your mental state. We need to change the way that you look at food. And if you think about Weight Watchers, Noom, Slimming World, all of these, they don't actually tackle those reasons. What they do is they keep you going. They keep you roped in. They keep getting that money from you. And it's only when you get to a stage where either you feel comfortable with how you feel, you have lost the weight that you wanted to lose, or you're just bored and you just give up, and you think, oh, I can do this on my own, that's when you're going to stop the commitment with them. And 2 things is going to happen. You're either going to have learned something and you're going to instill it and put it into your daily life. It's already there. It's a good habit. Or you're going to slowly go back to those negative habits, which got you to that place in the first place. So we're going to look at a bunch of different things over the next few days. But the one thing I want you to start thinking about now is, how do you see yourself? Because that is so important. I want you to write it down. I want you to either send it to me or keep it ready for the next one. I really want to help you guys as much as I possibly can. I want to help you to change the way you look at food. I want to help you change the way you look at yourself, because it's all up here. Our mindset has such an impact on the way that we tackle things. Our mindset has such an impact on the way that we look at food, the way that we look at ourselves, the way that we look at our external environments, and everything connects together. And I'm going to show you exactly how. Thank you so much for watching, and I cannot wait to see you at the next one.